Rabat from Derby, England, who turned 22 on Thursday, he wants to know what is the backstory behind Triple H saying, "Am I fucking going over?" Yes, it's kind of turned into a meme of its own in recent years. So that comes from a story told to Matthew Randazzo, who wrote a book called Ring of Hell many years ago about Chris Benoit, told to him by an ex-writer for WWE. Now, there is no way to verify this story, only that this is supposedly the story told to Randazzo by this person who at one time wrote television for, or assisted in the writing process for WWE. The writer said that he had to deliver a script to Triple H's dressing room. Triple H had his own dressing room away from everybody else, and he had to deliver a script. So when he came to the door, the writer told him he had the Raw script ready to show him for that night. And the first time this ever happened, he said Triple H grabbed the script out of his hand, flipped through it, didn't actually read it, and instead he just asked him, "Am I fucking going over?" And the writer said yes, and Triple H handed it back to him and said, "That's all I needed to know." And he closed the door and went right back into his dressing room. Fast forward a few months, he delivers another Raw script to him. I think it might have been the day of a pay-per-view. Same thing. He flips through the script and he asks him, "Am I fucking going over?" This time, he was going to lose by, I guess, disqualification, but keep his title. So obviously, I'm guessing this was during that period of his reign of terror when he was the world champion. So he was going to keep his title, but he was going to lose the match by DQ. So the writer just goes, "Well, sort of. You're sort of going over." And Triple H snapped at him. What do you fucking mean, sort of? He told him, "Well, you lose by DQ. And Triple H says, "What page?" And the writer tells him the page number, and Triple H flips to the page, he rips it out, and he throws the rest of the script on the floor, and he slams the door in his face. And by the next time, or the next night, I guess, the match outcome had changed to a Triple H victory. Now, look, was this an ex-writer with an axe to grind trying to make Triple H look bad, or did it actually go down the way that he says? Who knows? But the story just sort of took on a life of its own, and like I said, it's become sort of a meme over the years. And Gregory from Boston, I love hearing Jim Cornette's rants and raves, going off on a lot of the talents over the years that made lots of money but did not really deserve to be in the business, were just really bad for business, or didn't want to bother to get better to help the business. In your opinion, why no rant or hatred from Cornette on Goldberg? Goldberg clearly was never a fan of wrestling. He's hard to deal with. He's not talented in the ring. All of his matches are quick and exactly the same. He can't cut a promo. He takes himself too seriously, thinks he should beat everybody because he's a big guy, blows up in 3 minutes, and everybody knows he only wrestles so he can make big money, and he has no love for the business at all. Wouldn't he be in the same league as the Ultimate Warrior, in Jim's opinion? This would be a better question to send to Jim Cornette. It's very strange. I would get a question saying, "Why do you think someone's opinion of this person is the way it?" Just ask Jim Cornette. I mean, I don't fucking know. I mean, how would I know? But there's so much to unpack, though, with what Gregory just said. And you're going to make me defend Goldberg now here to end the show this week. And look, I'm not trying to beat up on you, Gregory. I appreciate the question, but I've got to refute some of these points. The fact that Goldberg wrestled to make a lot of money and he didn't grow up wanting to be a wrestler, he never had that level of passion to be a professional wrestler, is just one of the most ludicrous criticisms I hear sometimes about the guy. It's called the wrestling business. Okay? For a reason. Wrestling business. If you are not in the wrestling business to make money, I would argue that you are the one taking up a spot on the roster and perhaps should find something else to do with your life. That spot could be going to somebody else who wants to make a lot of money being a professional wrestler. Brock Lesnar did not come back in 2012 to WWE because he has such great passion for the wrestling business. Oh, I just couldn't stand to be away from it. I love it so much. No, he loved the amount of money he can make, especially now that he was a UFC champion. I'm sure he knew that only drove his stock value way high. He knew he can make a shitload of money and he had to support himself and support his family. And what better way to do that than to go back to wrestling? And he did make a lot of money. I have no issue with that. Good on Goldberg and good on Brock for getting a payday. The Rock has a passion for wrestling. It's in his blood, right? It's in his DNA. He quite literally grew up in the business. You think he works WrestleMania for free when he shows up and does a match? You think he gives Vince McMahon the Brahma Bull discount? I think it's fair to criticize the company's over-reliance sometimes on part-timers, but that's a whole other issue. I can't even blame Goldberg for that. But this stuff about, his matches are all 3 minutes long, and his matches have always been short. Even going back to when he was in WCW, first climbing the ranks. He ended up having longer matches on some pay-per-views, but his matches, on TV, he would come out, and within 3 to 5 minutes max. Because it didn't need to be any longer than that. That's the way a Goldberg match should be. Short and to the point. You want to see Goldberg in a 25-minute match? Because I don't. And Goldberg, this whole thing, he can't cut promos, and so where is this coming from? Goldberg, not only can Goldberg cut a promo, I'll give him credit for this. He cuts a more believable promo than a lot of the newer guys do. I mean, come on. You're not even making any sense now. Your rage for Goldberg has blinded you to the things that he actually does do well. But if you want to know why Jim Cornette lashes out at the Ultimate Warrior and not Goldberg, then the best thing to do is to go ask Jim Cornette. So go send an email. He's got a podcast. I don't know why you would think I would know. Ask Jim Cornette himself. Go right to the source.